I'm not what you would call a massive fan of soccer. Sorry, football. Apparently, merely uttering the word soccer is an offence worthy of immediate hate mail. To be fair, it's a British word. It's not like us Aussies made it up. But for the purposes of this video and maintaining absolute peace in the comments, I will refer to the game as football. As most of you already know, the World Cup is currently underway across North America, and Australia just won its opening match against Turkey. Sorry, Türkiye. Because heaven forbid you pronounce a country's name or a sport's title incorrectly, lest you face the wrath of the internet's most fragile purists. As an aside, when I was a kid, I actually belonged to a local soccer club called the Turkeys. True story. Anyway, Australia won their first match, and I honestly haven't heard the end of it. You'd think we just won the whole tournament. But I'm not here to speak ill of the sport itself, nor am I here to mock the fans. People like what they like, and fair enough. I am, however, here to critique the game's global governing body, FIFA. As with most massive organisations nowadays, you seemingly can't exist in the modern world unless you fully adopt the corporate woke playbook, and FIFA has done a truly impressive job of ticking every single box. If you head over to their official website, you'll find a pristine collection of their various social campaigns. First up, we have Unite for Inclusion, complete with a lovely multicoloured heart symbol, because of course we all know exactly what inclusion means in corporate speak. Then there's Unite for Gender Equality, and they don't just mean both genders, mind you, they mean all genders. Personally, I'm very much looking forward to the inaugural Demigirl World Cup. Next is Unite for Indigenous Peoples, because as we all know, absolutely everyone is indigenous to this earth. Well, except for white people, obviously. And finally, Unite for Ending Violence Against Women, which naturally begs the question, what about violence against men? Apparently, that's just standard baseline human existence. Anyway, you get the idea. FIFA has carefully crafted an inclusive campaign for absolutely everyone on the planet, provided, of course, you aren't a straight white bloke. As they proudly declare on their website, football is for everyone. Well, except perhaps for the racists and the homophobes. They definitely don't want to include them. It turns out corporate inclusivity is entirely absolute, so long as you hold the exact right opinions. In fact, FIFA makes it explicitly clear in their official statutes that discrimination of any kind against a person, group or country is strictly prohibited and punishable by expulsion. Apparently, the activists who gathered in Toronto didn't get the memo. They were recently spotted unfurling a massive banner that read, "Kick Israel out of FIFA." Now, just to be clear, Israel didn't actually qualify for this World Cup anyway, but hey, why let a minor detail like sporting reality get in the way of a good protest? Let's kick him out regardless. Either way, you're probably left wondering whether FIFA is actually interested in football, or if they're just running a full-time progressive activist hub. But despite checking every single box, Amnesty International still isn't buying it. They recently declared, "This World Cup has disenfranchised LGBT fans like no other." Yes, it turns out that multicoloured heart armbands and pristine corporate code of conduct PDFs are never quite enough to appease the professional grievance industry. Because of this, the official LGBT supporters group for the England national team, Three Lions Pride, announced they are completely boycotting this year's tournament. Why? Because they claim North America is simply too dangerous for gay people, citing Donald Trump's administration and his immigration enforcement agency, ICE. Because as we all know, if there is one thing you absolutely never see when walking down the streets of New York, Toronto or Los Angeles, it's gay people. You may have also heard the news that there is a record number of Muslim-majority nations competing in this year's World Cup, and as we all know about traditional Islamic governance, it is famously receptive to progressive LGBT messaging. Naturally, the corporate idealists running the tournament fixtures didn't see any issue with scheduling a match between Egypt and Iran, where homosexuality is criminalised, to coincide exactly with Seattle's local Pride Festival weekend, even designating the fixture as an official Pride match. Unsurprisingly, according to the ABC, both countries' football federations immediately fumed, lodging official complaints to FIFA over the unreasonable and illogical programming. But hey, what do they know? Clearly these socially conservative nations just need to check their privilege, get with the corporate program, and shut up and play their LGBT pride match. And then we have the case of Somali referee Omar Arton. He arrived in Miami last week ready to officiate, only to be promptly blocked by US border officials. Publicly, Customs and Border Protection announced he was simply inadmissible due to vetting concerns. Privately, officials leaked that he was deemed a national security threat over alleged associations with suspected members of terrorist organisations. But don't worry, because FIFA has stepped in with a bit of breaking news to calm our collective anxiety. They've confirmed that Mr. Arton will still be receiving his full World Cup tournament pay. Phew, what a relief. I was deeply concerned that being barred from a country on suspicion of terrorist ties might negatively impact his corporate remuneration package. But according to the corporate hierarchy, the single most dangerous threat in modern football isn't traumatic head injuries or horrific leg-snapping tackles, it's racism. How earlier generations managed to survive the harrowing experience of being confronted with bad words on a pitch remains a total mystery. According to recent ABC reports breaking down the tournament's new regulations, FIFA is rolling out some historic rule changes. Chief among them is the no racism gesture. If a player experiences racial abuse, they simply cross their arms at the wrists, and as long as they aren't considered white, the referee will come a-running. FIFA, keeping racism alive. Under the new 3-step protocol, the ref will stop the match. If it continues, they'll send everyone back to the locker rooms, and if it still persists, the match can be abandoned entirely. Because as we all know, a tool that allows an entire global sporting event to be cancelled on the spot is completely immune to strategic abuse. Nah, that won't happen at all. And if players thought they could just cover their mouths to hide a stray insult, think again. Covering your mouth during a confrontation with an opponent is now a straight red card offence. The official reasoning is that players have previously used their hands to conceal racial slurs. But under the new rules, this is the first World Cup where simply covering your face can get you sent off. Because obviously, if you cover your mouth during an argument, you must be uttering a racial slur. What other possible explanation could there be? Presumption of guilt? Sure, why not? We can't let basic legal principles get in the way of protecting a professional athlete's feelings on the pitch. Anyway, as I think I've clearly demonstrated, FIFA has proven that football truly is for everyone this year. Well, unless you're a racist, a homophobe, or happen to disagree with FIFA's corporate boardroom in any way.